So over the past couple months as a community, we've had a conversation about not just the NBA, but now NBA discourse, mainly the way NBA media is. And for the record, I just want to say, if you've followed this channel for the past 5 years, you know that I got my start talking about NBA media. I mean, literally, if you look through my videos, there are a bunch of them criticizing the way the media has been. And traditionally, it's just been because I don't like the way the coverage is. I don't like people like Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless that talk bad about players and then want to say they're doing good analysts. But a lot of people are now starting to catch on to this because of what has gone down over the past couple days. Now, before I even get into the conversation about what Stephen A. Smith said about media, I want to talk about the conversation that actually led to this. And that conversation was regarding the face of the NBA. So this shit actually starts about 2 weeks ago. On February 15th, Anthony Edwards was asked if he was the face of the NBA. And he responded with, "Nah, that's why we have Wemby." Now, some people took this serious. Some people are starting to talk bad about Anthony Edwards, but here's my take. I think that Anthony Edwards is someone that should be the face of the league. I think he's entertaining. I think he's great at basketball. I think he has the personality and that dog in him to be a great face. And he hasn't had that much controversy around his name except that one thing that happened, but that was like a year or two ago. I don't think everyone even remembers what happened. Oh, and the whole send the video thing. But again, I don't think it's really that big of a deal compared to what other people have done. Now while this is not even the main topic of the video, again, I just want to say that I do think Anthony Edwards could be the face of the league, but I just don't know if he is right now. And the main reason for that is just because he himself has said that he just doesn't want to be the face of the league. So I'm sure that somebody else will eventually fall into that category. Like he said, it could be Wemby. I think that's what's going to end up happening. So now let's flash forward about 2 weeks later when LeBron is asked about that question. And this is exactly what he had to say.
I don't know. Why do you want to be the face of a league when all the people that, that cover our game and talk about our game on a day-to-day basis on everybody? We have that responsibility. It's just weird. It's weird energy.
So now let's go to the following day on First Take. And funny enough, the conversation is not about who the face of the league is. They're simply just using that as a title and a reason to talk about this. The main reason is because LeBron said that today's media is very negative.
I'm gonna call it, like I said, this is some straight BS. I'm not saying everything that he said was BS because I understand there's an enormous amount of pressure that gets elevated, fellas, when it comes to being the face of the league. I understand that, but I don't appreciate what he said. I really, really don't. Let's understand what the backdrop of all of this is. This is fresh off of All-Star Weekend, an All-Star Weekend that LeBron James elected to show up for and not participate in.
Okay, so we're completely ignoring what he said. That's a great way to start this off.
Where if you're a brother and you're talking about brothers, oh, you just hating on brothers. You understand? It's like black on black crime. Well, if a brother busts your ass, you're praising the brother that gave it to you, and you're highlighting the brother that got it given to him. That's what you're doing. But people don't bring this kind of stuff up.
No, that's just not true at all. Sure, maybe some people look at it that way, but they're simply playing the race card.
When you introduced a superstar or the stars of the league, it was all positive. When you think about the Magic, the Jordan, the Hakeem, the Drexler, the Shaquille O'Neal, you push their greatness.
I know over the past couple years that Gilbert Arenas has had some ridiculous takes, and I've definitely ridiculed him for those. But I gotta say, over the past couple years, this man is definitely starting to grow on me as time has gone on. And I think this is a very good take. We are allowed to say that, oh, this guy's not top 5. But let's talk about the good about him. He's still a top 5 player. But you saying, oh, this player's not top 5 because of reason A, B, C, or D, and we really highlight on those, I think that's just a net negative for the game. This hypothetical player we're talking about is still top 5. He has still won a championship. Maybe he's won an MVP. He's done amazing things in his career. So let's highlight those. The disrespect needs to be just as loud as the praises. As long as those balance out, I don't think that's considered a negative. Because if the entire show we were all just saying, oh, this player's great, this player's great, and there's no pushback, then obviously that gets boring. But I've seen multiple segments where Stephen A is talking about someone and the main point is to bring them down, not highlight anything good, just bring them down.
We are a little out of balance. The greatness of the modern game is not celebrated as much as it should. I am not arguing that we should not compare to all the other ages. It's part of what makes the sport enriching, but we are out of balance. The complaints about the night to night and the style of play are out of balance, and that includes our friends at TNT. If the NBA asked me to come up with a marketing plan, which they would never do, I would say the NBA's plan, the NBA's logo should be greatness every night.
I gotta say, just like Gilbert Arenas, I think Wendy is making some great points. We happen to be in a time where greatness is happening every single night. We are at a point in time where this is the highest level of ball that we are talking about, and oh my God, why is Stephen A interrupting?
I've had enough of that. Wow. I'm not letting you get away with that. I'm not letting you get away with that. Neither one of y'all, okay? Let me tell you why. Effort matters. I'm certainly not trying to imply that LeBron James, or most players, go out on the court and don't give effort. In between those lines, there's a lot to celebrate.
I mean it when I say that was about 45 seconds that I am never going to get back, because this did absolutely nothing to help out the conversation. So anyways, a little bit after this, a former WNBA player by the name of Chiny, I'm sorry, I cannot say her last name, I apologize for this. But anyway, she would come on and Stephen A would ask her about the media, and this is what she had to say.
I think that we have a responsibility in this business to do two things. Provide entertainment and to also provide analysis. But the analysis is, I think, what players are looking for more. Even today's show is a good example. How much have we talked about Steph Curry dropping 56 and those 391 points? But the conversations that are overarching sometimes do a disservice to the league.
Really quick, I'm not trying to be like Stephen A. Smith and interrupt her, but she makes a very good point about them not talking about Curry's 56-point game, which, by the way, I went on the channel, I could not find a time they talked about it. I feel like this should be talked about more. You are a show that talks about a bunch of topics in a day and you couldn't find time to talk about Curry, but you want to go off for several minutes talking about LeBron and why you're mad that he's called you guys out. That is crazy to me.
How many people who have been connected to the game, that celebrate the game, that are knowledgeable about the game, that can espouse their knowledge about the game, comes on a platform like this? Those cats don't accept it. And you know how bad they are? I had a situation where you got cats doing documentaries on Black Wall Street. Come on the show to promote Black Wall Street. We don't even have to talk about basketball.
Okay, let me just start off with the fact that there's a reason that these former players are not coming on your show. It's probably because some of them just don't like you. Why would I, from the perspective of an NBA player, go on a show that is talking about me negatively and is not contributing anything to the game of basketball and its discourse? I mean, it doesn't matter if a player goes on First Take, because after they leave, you're gonna say the exact same things you were saying before. The perspective is never going to change. You're never going to try to get smarter from a conversation.
And they turned it down. Why? Because you got an attitude with me. How stupid can people be?
Also, when you say that players are stupid for not wanting to come on your show because you're promoting this bigger message, have you not learned yet that First Take, again, is just not needed? I don't need to go on First Take to promote something as a player.
But they get caught up in their feelings and then they point to folks in the media about stuff that folks are saying on social media.
There are many different ways to do it, including social media. And then you talked about social media being like, oh, it's people on social media who think they're media. Stephen A., today's media, a lot of it is based on social media. You should know this more than anyone. Also, Stephen A., let's just be real with ourselves for a second. You are not successful because you can talk about basketball. You are successful for rage baiting, clip farming, and overall trying to get these moments. You can be entertaining at times. That is the only reason why you're successful. It has nothing to do with your ball knowledge. Look, at the end of the day, I think that NBA media in today's day is simply just going to be the way it is. It sucks, but I just don't see this changing anytime soon. I feel like until a show like First Take inevitably gets canceled, it's just going to continue to think that it actually matters, which sucks, but that's just the reality of the situation.